What's going on, everyone? Kevin, what's going on, brother? How are you? Little late night live. Haven't done one of these in a long time. What's going on, everyone? Late night live. This is old school. Haven't done this in a long time. Do you think Jared will be back? No, I'm very confident that he will not be back. And that's okay. Kevin, recent follower. Love how you conduct business. I appreciate that, Kevin. Thank you for following. 413, my favorite Benz guy. I love it. Thanks, everyone, for coming to hang out tonight. Appreciate that very much. How to get a job at a dealership? Just reach out and apply. Most car dealerships are pretty willing to hire. Sealy 53 lease below 1,000, not without some money down. Not without some money down. Should I trade my X3 and buy a C62? That would be a big change. Peruna, thank you for the Corgi. Appreciate that. Thank you for the AccuTrade support, Doug. Well, Ben, lucky for you, I love AccuTrade, so it is happening naturally, right? I mean, it's been a game changer for us. Thought on the C63 AMG S Coupe 2020, will price go up? I think that's one of the best cars Mercedes ever built. At the time, I would tell people all the time that I thought that was the most car you could get for the money from Mercedes-Benz. So great car, great car. Yes, Jared left the Mercedes dealer. He's working with Russ Flips Whips. That's exactly right. Mountain-based, got it. Has there ever been a situation where you couldn't overcome someone's negative equity? Oh yeah, it happens all the time. Happens all the time. Most of the time it's a payment issue. You know, we can usually steer people to the right car to make loan to value work, but sometimes they just can't handle the payment. The Wheel Deal, hello from Metro Detroit. What's going on? Joey, how are you? Weather from the deck, hello from Canada. Hello, hello. Jared been talking smack about MVZNO? I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it, but that's okay, right? It's all right. Haters gonna hate. What are you gonna do? Peruna, I rate BMW better than Mercedes AMG. Oh, you rate BMW better than Mercedes, but AMG better than M cars. Okay. Okay. That's the beauty of cars, is that they're totally subjective, right? So everybody's got a different opinion on it. Hello from Raquel from Ottawa, Canada. Hello, hello. Eli, your sales guy. Mazda, sales guy from Missouri. What's going on, Eli? How are you? EV tax credit is going away. Probably, John. Probably is, for sure. Can I make an appointment to come buy a car tomorrow? Yeah, absolutely. Wakils, absolutely. S. Schwen, hello from Dublin, Ohio. Did you work at Crown? I did. I worked at Crown for many years before. I was there before I moved back to Columbus, Schwen. Jack, are you a fan of Subaru? I would say I'm not a fan of Subaru. I'm not a fan. I respect Subaru. I think they're good cars. They got a great all-wheel drive system. They're just a little unexciting to me, but I do respect them a lot. Robert Joseph is in Dublin, Ohio as well. Thanks for stopping by. Euphoria, what's going on, brother? James, good to see you. Good to see you. How is everyone? And thank you for everyone hanging out late night. This is old school, an old school live. If you're not following me already, I would humbly ask for a follow. Would love and appreciate that. Please also make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button. Thank you for everyone who's been so supportive. It means a lot. RH came in today to say, sorry for calling you rude. I grew to love your videos. Well, RH, I appreciate that. I don't know when you called me rude, but hey, I appreciate it. I know sometimes we can have an opinion of somebody based on something, and that can change, and hopefully that's what happened, but I do appreciate you coming by. Heard anything on the 27 GLE redesign features? Other than the new, I know they're going to have the star in the headlights and the taillights, kind of like the E-Class has it in the taillights. Other than that, Don't have a ton of information. Mercedes keeps that pretty close to the vest. Cast, no, not the same crown. Not the same crown as the Acura on Brook Park. Keegan took in a Geely 53 on trade with 72 miles today. Wow. Somebody clearly regretted that decision. How's the last week of the month looking for me? Are you talking about last month of June? Or you're going to be in town, right? You want to come swing by? I'd love to see you. If Jared wanted to come back, would you take him back? It wouldn't really be up to me. That'd be a group decision. No, Jared seems to be doing well. I mean, he's with Russ. He's doing dealership training for social media, so I think that he landed on his feet. JR, I appreciate you saying that. I really do. Appreciate the kind words. Project 1 for sale. Wow. If only we could have it here in the States. Can we possibly get a Cooking with Doug? That would be fun. I don't know that anyone would want to watch that, but I would totally do it. Before you're going to take your advice. Is that what we last spoke about? Was that CLE 53? Russ Flips Whips, how can I lower my insurance? Well, Russ, it's funny you ask. You can visit my website. You can make sure that you're not overpaying, right? So if you go to the link in my bio, I've got the website where you can get a free value on your car. You can get monthly value tracking emails. You can sell your car, all that fun stuff. You can also check insurance and get a free vehicle history report, by the way. That's the cool new thing. All you have to do is get one insurance quote, obviously no obligation, and you get a free history report on your car, which is, I think, pretty sweet. So, yes, you can. Yes, you can. That is the BAB. I had it shortened, bab.sellyourcar.online. Ozla's, my uncle ordered his and went through hell getting it, but his attorneys found a workaround, messaged me, and I'll explain how. Wow, so you're telling me that you have a Project 1 in the States? Because if that's the case, that is wild. Sounds too good to be true. Russell, it is not too good to be true. I'll have you know. It is legit. It is legit. Turns out when you start doing some stuff on social media, people want to give you access to cool stuff that I can then give access to everybody else. I heard you actually fired Jared. No. In fact, I wasn't even there the day that Jared left. He didn't even tell me. I found out the next day when I got to work. It was a Thursday. Ryan, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Assad, I love the way you run your sales department. I appreciate that. I really do. Florida Bronco, did Amex stop their auto program? Yes, they did. Russ, have a great night, brother. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, American Express ended their program end of the year, and I apologize for the confusion because I do have videos that my editing team does that were filmed last year. They come out now. Makes it look like, that is a still ongoing program, but it is not. Unfortunately, it did expire. How many cars have you sold in a month? Me, personally? Or the store? Ryan, you've been an awesome source of information, not just on Benz vehicles, but the car industry in general. Appreciate what you've shared and had some great laughs too, Ryan. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me that you all watch. And yes, I work for Mercedes and I'm very passionate about the brand, but I love the automotive industry and I'm hoping to share things that I know and things that I've learned that will help you to buy a car, in an easier way and maybe pick a better dealer to work with. And just, that's the whole point. I'm trying to make the car industry better overall as best I can. How many presidents? Biggest difference between the CLE 300 and 450 Coupe. The only difference between the two is the engine. That is it. Those two cars are identical. Keep in mind that the class of car from Mercedes is determined by the letters. Okay, so CLE is the class. All of those cars are going to be identical dimensionally. Okay, the numbers are going to reference the engine in some way. Now, when AMGs get involved, once you go from, Mercedes-Benz model codes will always have 3 digits, like 300, 450, and AMG model codes will always have 2 number digits, right? Like 53, 63, 45, etc. All right, so Dimensionally, the cars will not change. However, when you get into the AMGs, you might have wide bodies or you might have a little bit of a different styling package. Like in the case of the CLE 53, that's the first time in a long time that we've seen like an actual wide body car. So you take the CLE 450 and boom, make it wider in the hips. Rhonda, that's a great question. And no, it used to be that way. So the numbers in the model codes used to actually refer to the displacement of the car, right? So the S550 back in the day had a 5.5 liter V8. Okay, about the time of 2014, 2015, when new regulations started coming into place and all these manufacturers had to start turbocharging engines and downsizing them, displacements have started to fall. Okay, you've got more power but less displacement and turbocharging, and so Mercedes at that point no longer the numbers no longer made sense, but they didn't want to go from an S550 to an S400 just because it went from a 5.5 liter naturally aspirated V8 to a twin turbo V8. Okay, so the numbers have continued to go up, but it no longer references displacement like they used to. So, Anthony, Porsche started making a true manual transmission again, according to Doug DeMiro. Do you see that as a trend? I miss manual. I think that Porsche can do that because of the low production numbers that they do relative to other, mass market brands. I think that there's definitely demand for manual transmissions. Just I don't know that there's enough to justify most manufacturers going back to them. So I wish that we had, a car with a manual transmission, but I get why we don't, right? The R&D for such a low take rate really doesn't make sense. Omar, if the G580 is doing so bad, why am I calling all the dealerships and knowing they're offering $1 off MSRP? Omar, call me. I'll give you a lot more than that. That's for sure. What's your take on Andy Elliott? I think he's a little over the top. Not really my cup of tea, but you know what? He's successful, so good for him. Owned BMWs for a decade. Just bought my first Mercedes a month ago. Love your content, ZB. That's awesome. Congratulations on your new Benz. Love it. Asking again, can you still buy Mercedes with cloth seats and roll-up windows? No. I mean, maybe in Europe, some of the vans and trucks possibly, but not here in the States. Matthew, hello from outside of Philadelphia. Hello, Matthew. Thanks for the education here. Amazing. Can you comment on how difficult it is to maintain the graphite gray Magno? That's a great question. It definitely is more difficult. I would, on the graphite, any Magno paint car, ceramic protection and or clear film is definitely highly recommended because that paint is much more difficult to repair if it is damaged, right? So you want to do everything you can. You really shouldn't be taking it through car washes that have brushes, right? You can do laser washes or touchless washes, but yeah, it's a little bit, it's not like terrifying to take care of, but it is harder. It is harder for sure. And not every body shop can really adequately repair a matte finish paint car. So that's something to keep in mind. Kazooie, I'm currently driving an EQS 580 SUV. EQS 580 SUV. Salvatore didn't know I worked remote. No, just a little late night live tonight, doing it old school. Used to do these when I first started TikTok. It was my way of kind of connecting with the community, and just sort of had an opportunity to do one tonight, and I figured why not hop on and do it. Let's see. What do you think of George Saliba? George is a friend. I've gotten to know George. I think that he's a genius at what he is doing. I mean, he has built this amazing thing. I think that he negotiates way too much. I think he has set himself up for endless negotiations all the time. But, overall, I think that what he's doing is amazing. I mean, he's absolutely crushing it. And, he is one of the reasons. It really was Russ and George were the two people that pushed me over the edge to start filming content myself. So I have a lot of appreciation for the both of them. They're both very different people, different styles, but I appreciate them both. Brando with the Galaxy. Thank you, Brando. That was extremely kind of you. I appreciate that. Wow. Do you miss Jared and Gavin? I mean, look, I never like when anybody leaves the store, but I'm happy for them both. They both found an opportunity that made more sense for them, and so I'm happy to have the team that I do. And no, I don't see Jared coming back. Chad, sales manager at Subaru Store here, Ohio as well. What's your thoughts on products at First Pencil? Um, Chad, I think that if they are, legitimately valuable products, I don't see a problem with it. Um, Again, I don't love it, but I don't have an issue with it as long as they are. Now, if they're like aftermarkets that the dealership is forcing onto the car, that's a different story. That's a hard pass for me. If you're gonna show what some dealerships call like a protected payment, which would be like I'm gonna show you the quote with the tire and wheel protection package included, and then we can remove it if you don't want it. I don't have an issue with that so much. But the whole aftermarkets and things that are preloaded onto cars or you've got to buy this, that I have a huge problem with. That's an absolute hard pass for me. Errol Dino, thanks for the content. Very informative. Small store. We love learning from you. I love that. I appreciate that. I love when I hear that stores around the country, watch my content and show it in sales meetings. That's like so incredible to me. I love hearing that. Bobby Coleman, hi Doug. Why does Mercedes not offer the Catalana beige in the GLC? Great question. Not every model class is going to have all of the same different interiors. I'll give you a counterpoint here. They don't offer the Catalana beige in the GLC. They also don't offer Sienna Brown in the GLE or the GLS. I really love the Sienna Brown that the GLC has, much more than I do the Bahia Brown that GLE and GLSs get. So, that kind of goes both ways. So sometimes there's an interior in one model that I'd love to see in another, and vice versa. Best bang for the buck V8 Mercedes any body style. Previous generation C63 coupe. That went up to, what did it go? 2023. 2022. Lee, I never heard back from you about taking my Audi that's on lease. We can definitely take your Audi that's on lease. SLS is an amazing car. I don't know that I would call that a bang for your buck car, but yeah. Morgia, Russ got it wrong, including Jared and his business. Why do you say that? Did you leave your dealership? No, I'm still here. Y2K, greetings. BenzsandBowties. I'm a manager of a Subaru store in the Bay Area. Love your content. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that. We have a lot of Subaru people in here tonight. A lot of Subaru sales managers in here tonight. Nick, thank you for what you do. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. Thank you to everyone who's here tonight. Thank you for everyone who's hanging out. Please make sure you hit the like button, the thumbs up button. If you're not following already, I would love a follow. Really appreciate all the new followers tonight. It means the world to me. And if you're not subscribed over on YouTube, make sure you do that too, because on YouTube we get the longer videos, right? So there's some fun stuff on YouTube that TikTok, Instagram, Facebook doesn't get to see. But thank you so much for everybody hanging out with me tonight for a little old school late night live. Most expensive car you've sold? Probably one of the Hot Couture Maybachs, about 450 grand. Gus Medina, do you see? Well, yeah, about 450 is probably the most. Do you use any AI tools with your sales leads? If so, whom do you use? Right now, we're not using any. We've tried a few. We're still. There's a lot of value there. Dealership Accelerator is a really good one, but our dealership also, really is. Our preference is to find a way to get a human touch on all sales leads. That's really what we'd like to do. So right now we're fighting hard to do that. We use AI for some kind of follow-up of our database. Rafi is old school. Yeah, Rafi is old school, but in a good way, right? They really care about keeping in touch with the client base, like with the human being touch, right? So there is a place for AI. AI is definitely a part of the dealership experience in the future. I think that it just has to be implemented in a careful way so that you don't have salespeople that just like stop doing anything. Mitchell, is the new CLE 63 going to have a flat plane crank V8? That's a good question. I don't know if it's going to have the new V8. Technically speaking, that car has still not been officially announced yet. Okay, so I know a lot of questions about that. My expectation is that we would see it sometime at the end of next year. But even though there are spy shots out there, Mercedes still has not come out and actually confirmed that car. So let's hope. I mean, look, even if it doesn't get the new flat plane, I'm excited to see it. Nick, informing people on the financial details of car sales is very important. I agree wholeheartedly. Adam, Porsche Mechanics Bird sales manager here. Love it. Truly love and absorb all of your content. I've learned a lot and inspired many of us in the industry. Adam, that means a lot. Thank you for sharing that. You work for my second favorite brand. Porsche is an amazing brand. I usually say it's 1A and 1B for me, Mercedes and Porsche. I heard your comments on the G-Wagon SUVs not moving. Any feedback on the Escalade EV sales? I haven't heard a lot about those yet. I would imagine because of how new they are that you've got that kind of initial rush that any new car will get. The Escalade also is a little bit more of there's a lot more practicality to the Escalade EV. It's got really good range. It's a lot larger. I mean, G-Wagons are not practical at all. So I think it'll do better. Jared, if you can't get rid of those G580s, let me know and let's do another MV deal. There you go. Absolutely, Jared. We will definitely do one. I'm very interested to see what Mercedes does with that car. And Cody Carter, thanks for hanging out, brother. Thank you for the Dynies. But historically, I know we have new leadership coming in. Adam Chamberlain is coming back to Mercedes-Benz at the end of either this month or next month. And we're really excited about that. Adam's a very cool dude. He has a long history with the brand. Very excited to see what he does. I've been with this brand a long time, and historically, they are very they haven't always been very fluid to respond to cars that are lagging in sales. It's almost like they sometimes just wait until it becomes like a overwhelmingly glaring problem, and then they go like way hard in the paint, and they go like crazy on the incentives. I would prefer a more gradual approach, but who knows? Every now and then, and sometimes they won't do anything at all. Like when the CLS, the CLS was killed out. 2023 was the last year for the CLS, and they did nothing. They were expensive, they were sitting, they didn't have good lease programs, and Mercedes basically did zero incentivizing of that car on its way out the door, which I was very surprised to see. But, again, there weren't very many of them on the ground, so I think that probably had something to do with it. Charles, Doug, can I find out more on a car not being a dealer? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Charles, but, MOR. I mean, I'm always happy to share information if I can. Brando's Car World, any advice for us getting started with our social media journey at our dealership? The best advice that I can give you is just start doing it. You got to stop making excuses, stop worrying about what the content's going to be about. Pick up the camera, aka your phone, and just film something and get in the habit of filming and posting at least one video a day, and I promise you will figure it out. What ends up happening is everybody can find a reason every day why they're not going to do it. Oh, I don't know what to talk about, or I'm not sure what I'm going to say, or I don't feel, like I want to be on camera, right? You just do it anyway. And if you can get into the habit of doing it every day, then it will become a habit. It'll get easier, and you will figure out what your content's going to look like, right? So you just got to stop making excuses. Changes for the S-Class for 2026. So, all right. Hopefully this clears it up. Probably should do a video about this. All with the exception of the new CLA at the end of this year and the E53 wagon at the end of this year, all of the new product is coming next year. There was a lot of PR that was extremely confusing because it kept referring to 2026. And in the auto industry, when we hear years, we think about model years. And Mercedes and all the publications were not referring to model years, they were referring to calendar year. Okay, so calendar year 2026, model year 2027, that's when all the cool new stuff is coming. All right, so new S Class next year, new GLE, new GLS, presumably the E63, the CLE 63. What else are we due for next year? All of the electric cars are going to get redesigned. They're going to go, the styling of them will mirror the gas cars. They're going to go to a BMW approach where the electrics are going to look like the ICE cars, the internal combustion cars. So all of that happens next year. So a lot of new product next year. No, not the whole lineup. We got the new E-Class last year. And if you want an idea of probably where the design language is going, take a look at the new E-Class. So 2024, 2025 E-Classes are my estimation of the most current design language that the rest of the brand will start to see in the next year. So, you could make the argument that a new GLA and GLB will be next year as well. So a ton of, the GLC and the C-Class, they are kind of at a midpoint. So those aren't going to be getting redone, but a lot of new stuff coming for next year. Idea for content, Salesman Olympics. There you go, Jacob. I like that. You got to write that out for me. Let me know exactly what we're doing. Colin, I work at a BMW and Mercedes-Benz dealer. What do you think Mercedes-Benz does better than BMW? How do I build value and then be better? Colin, I really, the two brands are both so good. It just comes down to personal preference. I mean, what I always tell people is that, Mercedes errs more on the side of luxury, and they have some pretty fantastic advancements in safety. And BMW is just, they lean sportier. So from there, it just comes down to what styling do you like better and what kind of drive type do you like better. But there's no wrong answer. There really is no wrong answer. Weird seeing this guy not in a bow tie. I know it is weird. It is weird. No diesel options. No, VW ruined diesel, unfortunately. Sherry, no sales here. I bought my first GLE 350 and I've learned a lot listening to. Thank you, Sherry. Congrats on the GLE 350. Thanks for coming and hanging out. What cars do you have at home? Well, my wife has a GLS 450. And I have, a demo that I drive from work. So that currently is an EQS 580. Are you saying they will end the EQS and it will just be a traditional S-Class? Yeah, so, Jared, they're not ending the EQS so much as they're just going to, whatever the new S-Class is next year, the EQS will just be an electric version of the S. I mean, the current EQS is an electric version of the S-Class, but it just has different styling. So they'll be aligned styling-wise moving forward. What do you think it will take for Mercedes to outsell BMW and get back to number one? Incentives. BMW has been just less expensive for many, many years. BMW has been incentivizing a lot more intensely than Mercedes has. So until Mercedes decides to ramp up the incentives, then, they're not going to outsell them. All right, Brandos, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you. Have a good night, brother. Don't take away my style. Yeah, Jared, you can hang on to that one for a little bit, but I'm interested to see what the new ones are going to look like. Doug Roberts. So the pronunciation is Designo for that word, and they've kind of gone away from Designo. Now it is manufactur. KTUR, Factor, is replacing Designo, and that basically just means that is the highest level of leather or interior or paints, and manufacturer is really expanding now to include a lot of customization that we've never had previously. So I'm very excited about that. There's going to be tons of new interiors, tons of new paints. That reminds me, I have a post that I have to do about some of the wild new interiors that you can get on S classes, and I'm sure that's going to go through the rest of the lineup. But they are really starting to expand the customization. They're really kind of targeting what Porsche has done very well for many years. Rob, why don't your videos fall through to the sale or loss of the sale? Rob, that's a great question, and thank you for asking it because we haven't talked about this in a little while. So, my content is very, it truly is behind the scenes. So, the way it works, when I'm sitting in my office, what happens is a salesperson walks in and they're going to, work a deal with me. They're going to ask me questions. So, they walk in, I put my phone up on the tripod, I hit record, okay, and we see what happens. So what ends up happening is that a deal is often not completed that, right then and there, okay? So it might still happen that day, but it might happen over the span of several videos. But a lot of our deals might take a day or two. The completion of the deal, a lot of time, or what will end up happening is, let's say somebody walks in, they work the deal, I'm filming, and then they walk into my office very briefly just to tell me that the deal is done. Okay, so I don't really have enough time in that moment to turn the camera on, nor what I mean. It's like they're just like, hey, it's a deal. Okay, so I guess what I could do is turn the camera on and say, hey, that's a deal, right? Or, hey, that's not a deal. But we just don't always know that quickly. So there really is no efficient way for me to include a resolution in every, deal, because what ends up happening is I film these videos. Sometimes it's like 10, 20, 25 videos a day. And then either myself or the editing team I hired has to go back weeks or months later and rewatch these videos to see if there's anything interesting that happened in those conversations. So it's just, I like to tell you, think of my content as you're not watching the movie, you're watching how the movie was made. Okay? And so you're not going to see the full movie and how it ends. You're just going to see the behind the scenes of how the movie was made, right? So it's more meant to give you insight and analysis to the kind of conversations that go on, and just some situational type stuff. And yes, I wish that there was a way for me to include more outcomes for all of you, but it's not efficient to do it that way, unfortunately. Will there be drastic changes in the S-Class for 2027? Yes. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Next year, the S-Class will be majorly refreshed. Carl, it is pronounced Maybach. It's not Maybach or Maybach, it's my, right? So you have to remove the A from the word to get the German pronunciation, Maybach. Mohammed, my Mercedes will be paid off this November. My plan is to get a new one around February. Should I buy it now, or is it okay to wait because of the tariff? I wish that I had a good answer for you. I really do. I'm not entirely sure. It stands to reason that 2026 models are going to be more expensive than 2025s, but we just don't know how much more expensive they're going to be, unfortunately. Is Anna your MBFS rep? I worked with her for years and ran my MB store in Arlington, Virginia, Mass. No, Anna is not our MBFS rep. We have Caitlin. We had an Anna that was our SOM for a while, but not anybody from MBFS. Give your audience the history on why the G-Wagon is so expensive. The short answer to that is that people keep paying exorbitant amounts of money for them, so Mercedes is able to charge a lot of money for them. There's really no simpler answer than that. I know it's kind of boring an answer, but people keep buying them. Jay, am I Amish? I don't think so. I don't think I'm Amish, no. If you could work in any other industry, what would it be? Probably in like the sports broadcast world. My dream growing up was to be like a play-by-play person, color commentator, or like an ESPN guy. I thought that would have been a lot of fun. Yakub, what could be the closest current style, make, and model SUV to my ML550? Really love it, 27. ML550, great car. Yeah, so the GLE 580 is currently the closest thing that we have to that. What was the first dealer you ever worked for? The first dealer I ever worked for was Classic Ford over in Mentor, Ohio. And that I was there for about 3 months. And then I moved back to Columbus to work at Mercedes-Benz of Easton. And that's where I started my Mercedes-Benz career. My store is going through the remodel to the Evolution showroom. Are you guys renovating? Keegan, no, we're going to be actually building an entirely new dealership. So we're going to be moving to Avon, Ohio in the next couple years. Will we get a service department tour? Yes, we are going to do that. We did a few dealer trades with your dealership before. Yes, absolutely. Did you start in sales? I did, Cameron. I did. Absolutely. You trade with Pittsburgh Mercedes? Yeah, all the time. Great relationship with all the stores there. All right, I'm going to probably do like a 5-minute warning here, but thank you again for everyone who's hanging out tonight. If you're not following already, please hit the follow button. I appreciate that. And thanks for all the likes and the thumbs ups and all the subscriptions and all that good stuff. Do you like working with Delivered, Rollo? We don't really need to work with Delivered. Delivered, we kind of do the same thing as him, right? We make it easy to buy a car, right? So if you want to buy a Mercedes, there's no reason to hire him. No disrespect. I mean, Tommy's a great guy. He provides an amazing service. There are a lot of brands where his services are very much needed. I would say with Mercedes, that's not the case. Cameron, no, I skipped F&I. Kimber, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Not in the market, but sure do enjoy following along. Travello, I appreciate that. I really do. Peter, is it worth getting rid of a GT55 for a 63? Not really. I don't think so. Alan, thank you for the hat. Appreciate that. Best Mercedes to lease. Depends on what you want. I mean, cheapest car to lease, EQB. The C, the CLA, the GLA, GLB, those are all leasing very well right now. Matt, I found your LinkedIn and saw that you studied economics. It's so fascinating to see not only the insights into the car business, but also your insights from sitting at the intersection of money and social science. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Matt. That was a very well written, that was awesome, very profound, and I appreciate it. And I do think that my degree in economics has really come in handy in car sales quite a bit. Night Nurse, yes, I do. I love the Porsche Boxster. In fact, I had one. I had a 2013, one of my favorite cars that I've ever owned. Love Porsche. I'm a convertible guy. I know not everybody is. A lot of people like coupes, but I love the Boxster very much. How's the new G-Wagon going to be? Oh, E-Wagon. Well, the new E-Wagon is here now. It's amazing. Can't wait to see the E53. Have you seen how dead the car market is in the UK? No, I have not seen that. I want a 718 Spider, yeah. 718 Spider would be fantastic. Are you in an attic? No, kinda. It's our 3rd floor. It's a finished room, but yeah, it's technically the attic. Average 3-year residual for your lineup? Between, they're usually 53 to 56%, somewhere in there. Best entry-level Mercedes, C-Class, C300. Jessica, how do you see the pre-owned luxury market right now? Values holding. I'm seeing lots of price drops, but curious your perspective. I mean, overall, we've seen pricing coming up across the way, overall. But, That's just a generalization. There might be some models that are going down, but used cars are becoming more expensive because new car inventory is dropping as a result of the tariffs. Manufacturers are generally making less cars because they don't know what exactly the true cost of the tariffs is going to be for them. Why did I picture you as a guy who wore a bow tie to bed? No, not me. But I get it. I get that a lot. Apologies for the train that's about to go through. How often do you get a fresh cut? I try to go for every 2 weeks. Sometimes it's 3 weeks. My hair grows very quickly, so I was very overdue for this one. That was 3 weeks. It was too long. Kenny, what's going on, brother? How are you? Why is auto insurance on so high on vehicles right now? That's a good question. I'm not sure, but I do. As Russ pointed out earlier, my website where you can get value tracking on your car, which is it's all free. Everything on that website is free, right? You can put in your VIN, you can get a value on your car, you can get monthly emails with the value on it. You can also shop insurance on there, and everyone should be doing that at least once a year, because I found out the hard way once that I was paying way more for insurance than I should have. So you do need to shop that at least once a year, because insurance companies are tricky, man. They focus more on new client acquisition than retaining clients. It's like the most bizarre thing in the world. That's why there's always insurance commercials on TV. It's nuts. It really is nuts. It's the weirdest industry. But I mean, when I do watch TV, which is not not often, it's like nothing but insurance commercials. So you got to be thinking about that, about why that would be. And yeah, they would rather get you to switch to them than retain you. So just anyway, if you go to my website, which is in my bio, the sell your bab.sellyourcar.online, you can get value tracking. You can get a free vehicle history report, which is very cool, right? It's provided by bumper.com. And you can also just check to make sure you're not overpaying on insurance. So, anyway, just trying to provide some value for everybody. Thoughts on Andy Elliott saying six pack or you're fired? I didn't know he said that, but that seems a little silly. BenzsandBowties, why is Toyota your favorite non-luxury brand? It is my favorite non-luxury brand because I have a lot of respect for how well, how well they hold their value, how reliable they are. I know that as a manufacturer, they have really strong relationships with their dealers. I just think that it's a very well-run company. They've got a great product that's a great value. And I think that if you're the kind of person that wants a car that's going to run forever and you don't need the most luxurious thing in the world, that's the way you go, right? And Lexus the same way. Now, I think Lexus is a great car too, but I based on how much I love Toyota, I don't think that it's worth paying more for a Lexus, right? Because it's just a dressed up, Toyota basically. No, the same reason why I would get a GMC before I'd get a Cadillac, right? It's the same thing. It's just a little dressed up, right? I think if you want a luxury car, then you go to the standalone luxuries like BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, the cars that don't have they're not part sharing with other brands. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just think that Toyota's so good. I don't know why you'd need to spend more for a Lexus Toyota, right? If that makes sense. So Sherry insurance in California is a nightmare. I can only imagine. I really only can. But how often does this train go by, Ross? Sometimes once a day, sometimes 5 times a day. It's just a little random for sure. Your first miss? Okay. What did I miss, Slow G? How can I talk at your dealership for auto transport? We handle all of our transport in-house. Thoughts on minis? Minis are cool. Minis are cool. Yeah. Yeah, Toyota is strong. And yes, we are hiring. Absolutely. So, all right, I'm going to put a pin in it there for the night. It's getting a little late, but I really appreciate everyone hanging out tonight. Thank you for all the new followers. It means a lot to me. Thank you for all the new subscriptions. Just thanks for everyone hanging out, right? We haven't done a late night live in a long time, and it really means a lot to me that you would all come in here and hang out and ask questions. So I appreciate it. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your night, and we'll try to hop on tomorrow if you're around. It'll be kind of late afternoon, but anyway, have a fantastic rest of your evening, and until next time, have a great night.